Hello and welcome to the ultimate user guide for AMD users for any form of lag on Counter-Strike Global Offensive, whether it be FPS or ping or bad ping. So you want to go to drivers and support on AMD.com and go to any of your operating systems. Mine is Windows 7 64-bit, and download your latest driver and check it regularly, probably like once a month. If you don't know your operating system, go to latest AMD GPU drivers and go to the box that says automatically detect and install your driver and click download now, and it will automatically detect your driver, the latest driver, and your operating system. The next thing you'll want to do is go into your start menu, go to control panel, go to power, performance information and tools, go to adjust visual effects, and adjust for best performance. If you don't like the font, you can find smooth edges of screen fonts, and it will smooth all the edges of the screen fonts, and find whatever you like. But if you prefer best performance, you can go ahead and do that. Your next step is to go to control panel and find personalization to disable Windows Arrow. These are all arrow themes. They use a little more stuff like RAM and your CPU to load up the 3D and transparency. Go click on one of these, whatever you prefer, themes, and it will disable Windows Arrow. Go to radionpro.info, click on download, and click on this download, and it will download the latest version of Radeon Pro, which looks like this. Once you download it, open this up and click on global and set any of the settings you want to change. For best performance, you will want to use application settings. For that, disable MLAA, have FXAA off, have SMAI off, keep anti-aliasing filter at multi-sampling, keep anti-aliasing mode at multi-sample, allow anisotropic filtering to be application controlled, force tessellation control off, and turn vertical sync completely off, always off. Next is to switch from visual to advanced. You should enable anisotropic optimization, trilinear optimization, enable service format optimization, and these all increase your frames but will reduce the image quality. Next is to go to texture filtering quality and ensure that it is at performance level so that it may not, take up as much in terms of texturing filtering to take your FPS away. Go to map matte quality, turn it all the way to high performance. Turn your texture LOD to 3. Now, if you keep it at 0, it'll look the same. If you put it at 3, everything will look like trash, basically. So if you don't want it to look like big mashes of color and stuff, it'll reduce your frames for sure, but it's whatever. If you put it at negative, it will increase the quality, so reducing your frames. Flip queue size doesn't matter. You can keep it at 3. You can put it up to 5. But if you put it up to 5, it'll increase your mouse input lag. So if you want less input lag, put it at 0. Tweaks you can't mess with. So that's it for this. The next step is to go to your Steam, click on settings, and find interface and disable direct write for improved font smoothing and kerning. This takes a little bit of your RAM to make everything smoother, just like we disabled font smoothing for Windows. Next step is to go to your library, click on Counter-Strike Global Offensive, right click, click on Properties, and set your launch options. You want to have at least high, no joy, and no D3D9X. These settings will be in the description. The rest are all preference that I have. Another thing you will want to do is in your config or in game, you can go to the console, but we're going to do this in the config. We're going to put in the following: CL underscore interp space 0, CL underscore interp underscore ratio space 1, CL underscore CMD rate space 128, CL underscore update rate space 128, rate space 128,000, and that will make it so your connection will be a lot better, hopefully. The next thing you will want to do is do CL underscore force preload space 1. This will load every sound, everything before the game starts. So if you're going to go into a match and sometimes you don't hear sound, this may be why. But it will take a little longer to load in the server. CL underscore lag compensation space 1. This will allow for, if you have bad ping, you will be able to hit people because it'll compensate for your lag. Next thing you'll want is CL underscore predict weapon space 1. This is so that it'll allow your sound to cooperate with the server and client very well. Next you will want is R underscore dynamic space 0, R underscore eyeglass space 0, R underscore iMove space 0, and these are already default, but I have them in there anyway, and R underscore eyesight space 0, and that'll mess with all the eyes and stuff, so that there'll at least be minimal extra frames, but every frame counts. So muzzle flash underscore light space 0, sys underscore anti-aliasing space 0, sys underscore aspect ratio space -1, sys underscore refl detail space 0, and mat underscore q underscore mode space 2. The next thing you'll want to do is go in game, and you will see options. Click on that, go to video settings, and find your preferred settings, your resolution, whatever you want. If you lower it, it'll be a better, you'll have better frames. You want to go to global shadow quality and go very low or high. I prefer high because I can see all the shadows everywhere on the map, but if you really want the best frames, you want it very low, and turn everything to low. Enable multi-core rendering if you have multiple CPUs. If you only have one CPU, which means one core basically, don't enable it. That could mess up your computer. Non-bilinear, disable all this, and that will be that for that. The next step is to go to coderbag.com/programming hyphen C /disable CPU core parking utility. Scroll down until you see download application executable files and click on it. It will download the file automatically. Once it is downloaded, you can go to Unpark CPU app, and you will want to extract the files, open it up, click on Unpark CPU, and check status, and wait for it to check your status. Once it has checked your status, it could say all these things. It could say more, it could say less, and it will tell you your status. Mine were all parked. You want to unpark it all. If you have Windows 8, do not install this, or 8.1. This will not work. It needs to be Windows 7 or older. And if it shows all parked or any of them parked, just say unpark all. Even if they're already unparked, it'll unpark it. Like that. The next step is to ensure that all your Realtek HD audio drivers are up to date. In order to do this, go to your speaker thing, go on playback devices, go down to your default device, click on properties, find controller information, click on properties, click on driver, and it will show you your driver version and your driver date. If your driver date is not September the 9th, 2014, there is probably something wrong. If your driver version is not 8.53.0.2, there is probably something wrong. If it is any older than this, then you should update your drivers on the Realtek website. Just Google Realtek and you can find your drivers for that very easily. The next thing you want to do if you are using Windows, Windows comes with a defragmenter. So search in your start menu, defrag, enter, and you want to analyze your disk. Mine is the C drive. It will go through the analyzation process, which is not very long. Now I must note that the defragmenting analyzation process can actually take longer if your drive is a lot bigger and if you haven't done it in a long time. And also do note that you should never ever defragment your hard drive if you are running a an SSD as your main disk drive. The next thing you'll want to do is go to this location and find your 88.2ab71a.dat file. Edit with Notepad and clear it if there's anything in there. If there's nothing in there, then you can skip that part, but go to Properties, click Read Only, and that should help reduce your frames. But do not delete the file, just keep it, just delete everything in it. One more thing to deal with the Steam settings is go to In-Game on the Steam settings after right clicking on the icon in your thing and clicking Settings, and go to In-Game and disable the Steam overlay, and this can help with your FPS drops if you're getting random stutter lag and whatever. The next thing you will want to do is go to Steam Web Helper to this pastebin link, which I will link in the description, and click on Download. Once it downloads, rename it to this, remove the .bat, open it, save as, and file, and .bat, and I already have it saved as that, so, and then run it, and you should be fine. It'll kill all the Steam web helpers basically. Now if you ever need to stop the Steam web helper killer, you should download this one, which will also be linked in the description, and run it, and it should stop it so you can do things like trade and whatnot. Some final steps to use are things like this: removing your controller. If you have a controller plugged in, that can give you an instant boost to frames. If you want to, there's a thing called Battle Ping, I believe it's called. I will link it in the description also. And you can purchase it. It's a purchasable thing. It's a subscription, I believe. I don't use it, so I don't know. You can get it, and it will basically connect you to a server, and it'll try to, basically you'll get the connection to that server. It'll connect to the server that you're connected to, and you'll get the better ping because you're connected to that server that is connecting to the other one. So it's feeding through itself. Basically it feeds to that server and then it feeds to you, so you get better ping. Another thing you want to do is stuff like updating your network driver, which depends on each network, so I'm not going to go through the steps of all of them, but find out what your network is, update your driver. You can download a thing called Razer Game Booster, which I will link in the description. And if all else fails, just get better hardware, or if you have bad ping, you should just get a better internet service provider, or get better service from your internet service provider. And that should be about it for the AMD Ultimate User Guide. If you have any extra things for AMD users, please comment below and I will add them in the description, and they will be up top. The most important things, of course, because they improve your frames, if I forgot anything at all. And that should be it. Thank you for reviewing. If it helped, please let me know, and I will see you in the next video.